Welcome back to Mustache Moto. It's Ben. Today I'm going to compare the 5 Dragon roads. Alright, if you follow this channel, you know I just got back recently from a trip where I rode all 5 of the Dragon roads. Really, before I started researching it, I didn't know there were 5 of them, but I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to hit them all, and I want to compare them for you and kind of give you an idea of which ones you might like better, or which ones you may want to go hit on a road trip. So first off, let me say they are all fantastic roads. I mean, they are spectacular motorcycle roads, but they've got different flavors and kind of, different reasons you might go and ride them. So let me kick it off. We'll start off with the Trail of Dragons. That's West Virginia, Highway 16. It's 286 miles. I went from St. Mary's, West Virginia, down to Marion, basically at the Virginia border. Not Marion. I went to the Virginia border. So that's the 286 miles. This is spectacular. I mean, this really spoke to me. I really like road trips or rides where I'm going point to point. I don't, the loop kind of stuff or going on the same road back and forth, that's less appealing to me. Because I like to go places, I want to see something new, and I really like dipping in and out of civilization, right? So get some nice tight and twisties, then you go through a little town, then you get some nice tight and twisties, and you go through a little town or an abandoned town, or you see some homesteads, you go through a little holler. That made this really a special ride for me. I mean, let me give you a secret, almost all roads in West Virginia are pretty amazing, but this one was spectacular. The other thing about it is you're on Highway 16 the entire time, so you don't have to have a GPS turned on or use any navigation. When you get on, you could just follow signs and really focus on the ride. It's an all-day ride. I absolutely loved it. So you finish just north of Tazewell. That's where I stayed. I will link. I found a really cool small cabin that was right on Highway 16 south of Tazewell, and that is a great spot to hit several of these rides. So if you're looking to kind of have a centralized location and then hit some of these amazing roads, the cabin was really good. Let me warn you, there's no cell service there, there's no data service, they don't have internet, they don't have a TV. That was fine by me. It was a really nice, comfortable cabin. I will also say, though, that the driveway is really steep and it's off camber, and it caused a little problem for me. I decided to park up right by the cabin. A little tricky getting out the first time, but I managed it. Parked there again and dropped the bike the next time trying to get out. So I parked at the bottom of the hill after that. Probably a smart thing for you to do too if you've got a heavy bike. All right, so next up we'll talk about the head of the Dragon, which actually overlaps a little bit with Highway 16. So a little bit of that you've already ridden on the Trail of Dragons, or you could have already ridden on the Trail of Dragons. It's 92 miles, kind of southern coal country, West Virginia. Again, you're getting fantastic roads and you're kind of dipping in and out of hollers and little towns. Really spectacular, but only 92 miles. It's not going to be an all-day ride, so you're going to want to pair this probably with something else, or maybe if you're coming into town or coming into that area, you do the loop as you're passing through. But really, I really enjoyed that one. Very cool road. Next up, the Claw of the Dragon, which basically goes all the way from Wytheville and the Blue Ridge Parkway, all the way over to that would be on the east, and then west over past Tazewell. Part of it goes on Highway 16, so I could easily pick that up, which was great. Big loop, also long. That one is 240 miles the way I did it. Now that's the key. I did the outer loop. There's actually 5 individual smaller loops, and then there's the bigger outer loop. I felt like I only had enough time to do the outer loop, and that was some really beautiful countryside, some rolling hills, some super tight and twisties that I really loved. I got to see the ponies at Grayson Highland. But there was a lot of stretches there. I just felt like I was just trying to get somewhere. Still pretty country, but not the kind of riding I was looking for. If you're looking for something that has some good, long, laid-back sections, the Claw is really maybe the ideal one for you. Or with a little bit more strategery, you could use some of those 5 inner loops, which you're touching on all of them on the outer loop, but you could use that to avoid some of that outer part that's a little less technical. I'll put maps. So I got Maps Chiji. My CarPlay device records my actual movements right on the bike. So I've got below listed the GPX, the Google Maps files for all these rides. And I'll also put one in that shows all of the different Claw of the Dragon rides. And you can look at that and see if maybe you want to piece it together in a different way that might go from being a great ride to being like a spectacular ride. Next up is the back of the Dragon. That's 21 miles. That goes from Tazewell to Marion, Virginia. Very, very fun road. I actually discovered this accidentally 20-some years ago, 25 years ago. When I was up that way, I just found a squiggle on the map and went and rode it, and it blew my mind. So really a great, great road. I rode it this time from north to south, but I think south to north is actually a better way to do it. It's a lot more fun. Tight and twisty on both ends, very tight and twisty, with a nice kind of meandering section in the middle to let you kind of take a breath, cool down, and then you get back into the tight and twisty. Not a lot. I should say also, none of these roads that I've talked about thus far have much traffic on them. They're very quiet, especially during the week. I'm sure there's some holiday weekends, and in the fall it's probably a little bit more crowded, but I didn't get hung up behind traffic much at all. It really just wasn't an issue, and that was fantastic. So the last spot is, of course, the Tail of the Dragon, 11 miles, 318 turns. It is probably the most technical and tightest road you're going to find, I think. If you're a fan of Mustache Moto, you know I love my Chiji AIO6 LTE. I've tested about 15 CarPlay devices, and I'm always happy to click this one back on the BMW. So I'm really excited to say that Chiji is sponsoring this adventure. If you're interested in ordering one, links in the description. There's no side roads coming into it, except I think there's a gravel road or two. There's no businesses. You're remote. Very, very, very fun road. It's got some decreasing radius turns that are a little tricky. But if you don't go try and race it, you'll be fine. Very, very, very popular. That road has a ton of traffic on it. Motorcycles, cars, car clubs, trikes, slingshots, whatever the razors, whatever all those things are, they're all there. I mean, on a Thursday, midday, it was crowded. On the weekend, it's super duper crowded. You're gonna be passing, people in the opposite direction. Some people are going over the line. As amazing of a road as it is, it's one that I tend to, if I'm in that area, I'll pass through it once and keep moving. But if you like hanging out and just looking at bikes and looking at cars and talking to people and sucking up that kind of atmosphere between, hour of riding, that place is the place to go, because at the end, at the resort, the Deals Gap Motorcycle Resort and the Killboy store, it's like overrun. I mean, you're going to see all kinds of bikes and cars and all that stuff, and everybody's out talking and hanging out and having a great time. So if that's the kind of riding you like, definitely Tail of the Dragon is absolute must-do bucket list, and you're going to have a great time. Let me say, if you're like coming to ride the Tail of the Dragon, check out Cherryhala Skyway. I'll put a link to that video. I shot that once before, and I've ridden that for 25 years also. Whew, fantastic road. Much longer, much bigger sweeping turns, huge views, beautiful vistas, but you're only like a half hour away at the Tail of the Dragon, so you ought to make a point to get in there also. All right. You got all the information on all 5 of these Dragon roads. Put together a road trip. Maybe do all of them like I did. That was spectacular. Or whatever chunk you can do with the time you have. Now get out there and ride.